today's video. Today we're going to be making a super delicious 5-ingredient Oreo cheesecake. Now, I don't just love this cheesecake because I love Oreos, but it's so quick and easy to make. So, like I said, it's only 5 ingredients. They are full fat cream cheese. I like to use Philadelphia cream cheese, unsalted or salted butter. I actually really like to use salty butter in this. I really like a salty base. I think it complements the flavors perfectly. Icing sugar, and of course, lots and lots of Oreos. These ones are for the base and the topping. These ones are for the middle, the filling, and these ones are for decoration. So if you're new here, don't forget to like and subscribe, and let's get going. So the first thing you need to do is crush up the Oreos for your base and the topping. So I'm going to do that in a food processor. This is actually a mini food processor, so I always have to do mine in 2 batches, but you could always use a bag and a rolling pin if you didn't have a food processor. So I'm going to pop these in here. Also, these are really cool. They're actually Xbox ones. They've got a Y on them, not just a Y, like an X. They've got all the buttons of the Xbox on them. I think they're really cool. So I'm going to pop these in here. So they're really nice and fine now. You don't want any lumps in the Oreos. Now all my Oreos are blitzed, I'm going to pour them into another bowl. Now I'm going to add my melted butter. Now I'm just going to mix these until it resembles a wet sand. Perfect, that's fully combined now. Now let's go find a tin. So I have my 8-inch springform tin, and I'm going to line it with a piece of 8-inch parchment paper. You can cut out your own, but this is so much easier. I bought them from Lakeland, and honestly, I've almost used all of them. I love them so much for lining tins. They're so easy. Next, we're going to separate 1/3 of this mix for the topping into this bowl. So we're literally just going to set this aside. So pop that in another bowl. I just guess, but if you want to be precise, then it's about 120 grams for the topping. Now I'm gonna pour the rest into our lined tin. This is actually my favorite bit. I absolutely love Oreos just mixed with butter. I feel like I could just eat it with a spoon. Okay, so now we're just gonna level this out so it's nice and even, and then press it down firmly. Perfect, so that's, just dropped Oreos. So that's nice and smooth and level now. I'm gonna set this aside in the fridge. This one can just stay out. Now we're moving on to the filling. I have cold double cream here. It needs to be cold so you can whisk it to stiff peaks nicely. If you're from the US, you can also use heavy whipping cream. So I'm gonna pour that into our bowl. I'm using an electric whisk to whisk this because it's a lot easier and a lot quicker. You can whisk it by hand, but it's gonna take you a lot longer. So you can get these for like £10 or something at the supermarket. So I would definitely invest in one if you can. They're pretty stiff peaks. This is absolutely perfect. Okay, so now I'm just gonna set this aside whilst we make the second part of the filling. So I'm gonna grab another bowl the same size. Next step, I'm gonna add in our cream cheese. Like I said at the beginning, I really like to use Philadelphia cream cheese, full fat, because it's really thick and creamy and the water content isn't very much. Some of them can be really watery and it's just not gonna work very well in a no-bake cheesecake. Now I'm gonna add the icing sugar. Also, I forgot to say, your cream cheese should be at room temperature as that's gonna help it mix better. So now I'm just gonna whisk these together until they're fully combined. Okay, so that should be really thick and creamy. If you over whisk it, it can become runny, so just until you can't see any more icing sugar, okay? So now I'm gonna add in our whipped cream that we just whipped. So it should be nice and thick and it should hold its shape. Now I'm just gonna fold these together until it looks nice and creamy. Oh, it looks so good already. I could just eat it like this. Okay, that looks great. This mixer is making me hot. Now we're gonna fold in our Oreos. Some of these might be lacking in cream because I might have eaten some of the cream as I was breaking them up. And then we're just folding these through until they're evenly distributed. Okay, now we're gonna add this to our base that is in the fridge. I'm gonna scoop our lovely filling onto our base. So you can see it's really nice and thick. That's exactly how we want it to look. Here we go, now we have a mountain of cheesecake. Favorite kind of mountain. We're going to Cheesecake Mountain, Charlie.
Candy Mountain, Charlie.
Just gonna push that down all the way down to the edges of the tin, as that's gonna make it nice and smooth. We're aiming for no gaps. I've also made a white chocolate Oreo version of this cheesecake. That's also really delicious with like white chocolate in the filling and like a white chocolate ganache on top. That's my Instagram, but let me know if you want me to do a YouTube video on it as well. Fabulous. So the topping doesn't need to be neat, okay? Because we're going to top it with a whole layer of Oreo crumbs. It just needs to be level. So this is the final step now. I told you it was quick and easy. We're gonna add our Oreo crumbs from earlier and we're just gonna sprinkle them all over the top. So you're basically just looking for an even layer of Oreo crumbs on the top with no gaps. To be honest, you can decorate it however you like, but I really like this. I love the texture of it. I love how much flavor it adds to it. And also, what I really like about it is when it comes out the tin, as you'll see, it looks kind of like a giant Oreo because you've got like the Oreo base and then like the white filling, and then you've got the Oreo topping as well. I just think it looks cool. That's basically what I was going for. Okay, now I'm just gonna gently press this down, and it is easiest to use your hands, okay? I've tried it with a spoon, it just doesn't give the same effect, so be prepared to get your hands dirty. It kind of looks like soil. I know that's not what you want to hear when I'm making like a delicious Oreo cheesecake, but that's what it reminds me of. You could like have some little worms, some little gummy worms sticking out of it. Make it a Halloween one. Perfect! I'm just gonna go wash my hands because they are covered in Oreos, but then the final step is just to add the decoration. So I have 10 Oreo halves here, and I'm literally just gonna place them in to the topping. So what I like to do is go opposites, and that's how you get them spaced evenly. That is it! Okay, so now we're literally gonna refrigerate it for a minimum of 6 hours. I always refrigerate mine overnight, so I will see you in a few hours. We are back. Our cheesecake is out of the fridge, out of its tin, and I've neatened up the edges a little bit. I basically just went around it with a knife to make sure they were all nice and neat for you guys. So now let's cut it up. To cut it, I'm gonna be using a hot knife, and that's just gonna make sure it slides through the cheesecake nice and smoothly and it doesn't stick to it. I'm always so nervous to cut it. Smooth. I feel like I've done it a little bit wonky. Okay, this looks like a good slice, so I'm gonna try and lift it up. I feel like it always loses its nose. Oh, it looks perfect. Does that look good? What does it look like from your guys' angle? Oh, that looks good, right? I'm super pleased with it. I think that looks amazing. So, my favorite part, let's do a taste test. Oh yeah, that's so good. It's like so sweet and creamy, and then like the crunch